Hey there and welcome to Consult the Blind Guy. My name is Andrew and today we're talking about how you can make money by editing and formatting books. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Let's get to it. As I said, welcome to the episode. Today we're talking about how you can make money by editing and formatting books. Now, if you're somebody who is an author, or maybe you know somebody who is an author, you already know what book formatting and editing is. But if you don't, I'll give you a gist of what it is and how you can get started. Editing and formatting a book is fairly simple. Editing means to go through, spell check everything, make sure punctuations are right, make sure that everything is looking good for the author. That way there's no worries about typos or misprints or anything like that when the book is either set up as an ebook or published. Now, what does it mean to format? Well, formatting is the structure of the way that the document is going to be laid out. Now, if you go with my book, for example, the formatting was done to be able to fit all the way across the page and to make sure that the margins were good to be used within the book. Now, each publishing company has their own requirements for printing, but the gist of it is to make sure that if you're going to, for instance, go with a book like mine, which is 6 inches by 9 inches, when I had to format my book, it needed to have at the very minimum a 1/2 inch of margin on each side to ensure that it would fit within the binding of the book. That way, if there was less than a 1/2 inch, it would be within the crease of the spine, so it wouldn't be able to be read once it's flipped open. And if you have an 1 inch, which is standard, like when you're doing a regular document, it would have less room on the paper. You would have a 1 inch on each side or all the way around. And not only did I have to make sure my margins were right, I actually had to make sure that the paper on the document was sized for the book. Now, as many of you know, when you print something, it is on a regular sheet of paper, which is 8.5 inches by 11. And when you create documents, it's the default is to be at a regular page size of 8.5 by 11. Now, when I formatted my book, I actually had to shrink it down to 6 inches by 9 inches. That way, it was ready for the printing company to just print it onto the 6 by 9 paper. And if you have any experience with Microsoft Word and other document editing systems like Adobe or anything else, you have the capability of going in and adjusting those documents to the formatting to be able to fit different document sizes. You can set custom sizes. You could go with the preset sizes, which will allow you to do business cards and envelopes and different size paper and everything else. But in some cases, these programs don't have a preset for a 6 by 9 paper, so you would have to go in and change it to fit that document for the book that you're working on. Now, how can you do this to make money? Well, very simply, you can go on to freelancing sites like Fiverr, Rev, and Upwork, and any other freelancing site and offer your services there. Now, on Fiverr, from my research, I have seen people on there that will do editing and formatting for as little as $20, and I've seen some of them charge up to a few $100s depending on the amount of pages that it is, the intricacy of what you want them to do and how fast you want it, and so on. If you're not going to go on to the freelancing sites like that, you can offer these services yourself within websites like Craigslist in the Help Wanted section or Gig section. You can offer this on your own website. You can offer this service on your own business page for Facebook or Twitter or any other social media that you may have. You can also have Facebook groups or any social media groups where you offer your community these services as well. You set your price. You set your allotted time that it is going to take you to turn around and return that finished document to your customer. On Fiverr, I have seen people that will do it within 3 days to a week, and they will charge you extra for the time that you want it done quicker. We'll say, for instance, somebody might have it listed for their basic plan of $20 to format your book within 1 week. You want your book formatted quicker, in which case that person that is doing the service for you might actually charge you an additional 20, 30, 40, 50, however many dollars to be able to expedite your turnaround. This could be for increasing it by 1 day. It could be for increasing it by 2 or 3 days. Every one of the freelancers on Fiverr have a different criteria for what they're going to charge you on expediting services for you. And it's not all that hard. It's fairly simple to go in and do editing and formatting. As I said, I did my book all on my own in 1 year. That is writing, formatting, designing the cover, and getting it printed. That is every single step I did within 1 year. Now, some people will do their books fairly quicker. Some people will take time. As you can see, my book is fairly thick, and it covers everything I cover here on the channel. 100 plus businesses that you can start from home and ditch the 9 to 5. And my book is currently available. If you're interested in purchasing a copy, the link is down below so you can get information on ordering, updates, discounts, and more. So you can offer that service to where not only can you edit their book for them, but you can format their book for them. You can set guidelines on what you're willing to do and charge what you feel is worth your time. For instance, as I said, on Fiverr, you have people that go $20 for a few pages and upwards of a few $100s or more. Some of them go by strictly page count. Some of them go by word count. So you have to consider what you're willing to do. If you're going to do just editing and not formatting, you can base it on pages or word count. Word count, you could have 10,000 words, 20,000 words, 50,000 words, 100,000 words, however many you want to go up to. And then it would be your responsibility, if you're hired, to go through and read that entire thing to make sure everything is spelled correctly, punctuated correctly, and set up in paragraphs properly. If you're going to do editing and formatting, you do all the necessary editing for making sure letters are capitalized, punctuations are there, and everything else. And then once you're done doing all the corrections that may be needed, you take that document, you select everything, and then you format it to the page size that is required. If they're going to do an ebook and it's not getting published, well, then the only thing you really have to do for formatting is ensure that the margins are set how they want them, as well as if they're going to have columns or pictures inserted or anything like that. If it is going to be a printed book or a published book, then you need to again adjust the paper size as well as the documents itself, the pages, to make sure that they line up correctly. For instance, with my book here, like we'll say for instance here, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to formatting. You see that the topic is up here in the corner. The conclusion of the last section is on this side. That way, everything is lined up how the author or writer wants it. And if you're doing a single section like that, when you go from the large paper of 8.5 by 11 to per se a 6 by 9 like my book, everything shrinks. And when everything shrinks with the page size, that's going to throw off the entire alignment of what you might have in an 8.5 by 11. We'll say, for instance, you've got a 10-page PDF or an ebook that you're going to turn into a actual print book, for instance. That 10 pages on regular 8.5 by 11, when converted to a 6 by 9 page for printing, might turn into 15 to 20 pages. Now, that's just a guesstimate because it entirely depends on the paragraph size and the structure that you're choosing to go with. But my book, for instance, went from close to 200 pages on 8.5 by 11, and by the time I was done with shrinking it down to the 6 by 9 and redoing the formatting to make sure things lined up properly, it ended up being 375 pages. Now, even my large print edition, when I converted it from being standard print to large print, went from 375 pages to over 400 pages because of changing the font size, which increased the page number because now it took up that much more space, which means I had to go back through and readjust the formatting to get it how I liked it. And that's just one of many ways that you can be able to make money from home, is to offer services like this. If you're interested in learning more, you can head over to my website at consultablindguy.com/blog, where I have articles on self-publishing, editing, and so forth, and many other topics. You can also purchase a copy of my book, so you don't necessarily have to go onto the website, and you can read at your own leisure and have that information at your fingertips at all times. And there's literally something in there for everyone. Does not matter whether you're full-time, part-time, or unemployed, disabled, stay-at-home parent, or college student. I'm telling you right now, there is literally a ton of information in that book to be able to help you start making money as soon as possible. You can start making money in as little as a few minutes from now with the information in that book. And if you don't want to make money that quick, there are some options in there that may take you a little bit longer, but you could make a fair amount of money in return. So if you're interested, go ahead, head on over to the website or click on the link below and you can purchase a copy of my book, Income Booster, 100 plus businesses that you could start from home and ditch the 9 to 5. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found it helpful. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and please drop them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you have a great day or evening depending on where you are in the world. Thanks again for watching. Have a great one and we'll see you in the next episode. Now get out there and start making some money.